This would be Monday, October 21st. We're going to begin going over our short story notes and all that fun stuff. Tomorrow we have the spelling/vocab test. Wednesday is our poetry assessment, which is just a short little 10-question thing. And we also go to the library. Charter challenge. Pick up your notebooks. We're good to go on that. I'll have about a week. My goal is to get them back to you guys next Monday. And we should be good to go from there. And we'll go through the... And to here. On the green sheet, we'll go through and start putting those in to try and help you out from there. The first one we're going to take a look at is plot. When we did poetry, we had to worry about similes and metaphors and stuff like that, which will be popping up in short stories also, but now we get to add more information. Every story we do is going to follow these 7 elements. You have to figure out these things for every story. The first one is the easiest, which is plot. And if I ask you for the plot of a story, what am I asking for? Dougie?
The setting.
Close, that'd be the setting.
The main
try the Daughtery?
Well, you see here,
I do.
it's asking for the main idea or thing that's going on. So it's basically the story, the main line of the story.
We'll call that the plot line. Nicely done.
Yeah.
I usually sit and shorten it down to what happens in the story. So the plot is what happens in the story. It'll be an outline. Free age. It might be easier if you're on the other side. You can look this way. You don't have to, but just try and hook you up. Sometimes my kindness comes through. Don't get used to it. So the plot is what happens in the story, the outline of all the major events. Mickey!
Oh, I want to do the next one.
Oh, getting eager? I appreciate your eagerness. Alright, character. Mickey.
The people, the person or thing in the short story?
So the person or thing in the story.
Yeah.
Could be, not bad. Forbes.
Like people in the story.
Does it have to be people?
No, it could be
A
animals.
mouse.
And that's where it's going to be tricky. So to shorten that down, we're going to go with who is in the story. Sometimes it'll be animals, sometimes it won't be animals. It just sort of depends. Like in the poem Caterpillar, a caterpillar is a character. Oftentimes in stories, bugs are not going to be characters. In Custard the Dragon, a mouse and a kitten, they were both characters. But in a lot of stories, you won't actually have those as characters. It just like in Maggie, Molly, Millie, and May, the starfish and the crab are not characters. It's just a starfish and a crab. So it just depends on the story whether it qualifies. It has to be doing something active, usually talking or communicating or having some major influence on the plot. Free H.
Can I do the next one?
We'll find out. Jose.
Can I do the next one?
We'll find out. Setting. Tarby. There's 2 parts to a setting. What are the 2 parts to setting?
Where it's at.
Good. That's half of it. No, the other half.
And when it's...
Nicely done, Tarby. The when and the where. Both time and place. Anytime we do setting, you have to get both parts. Time and place. And they don't always come out and tell you. Sometimes you have to pick up on little clues that are in the story. That'll help tell you guys. There's when you say, it was a Wednesday in nighttime at 10 o'clock. Sometimes it just says, it was dark out and I was tired. You're like, oh, it probably means nighttime. So as we go through the story, you'll have to pick up on little clues.
Mr. Cody, our fabric finder's thinking.
I know.
I don't like thinking.
It'll be painful. Thinking's painful.
My head hurts.
Point of view for this one. A little trickier. Maya.
It's like, where the story is, like, from what person it's coming from.
Not bad. Eagle.
How different people see the story.
Not bad also. I went for how we see the story. How the plot is told to us in the story. How we see the story.
Mr. Bromley, that's confusing.
How we...
I know it is. We'll help you out here in just a moment. Because there's 3 different points of view that we're going to use. First person, third person limited, third person omniscient. Jose.
No, first person.
What's first person?
It's like, It's like the character's narrating his own story. Like
Nicely done. Being told, that main character right there. Main character is telling us the story. Uses I, me, and we. Mickey?
I think I knew the next one.
Now, third person limited and third person omniscient are both very similar. They're different than first person. They're very similar to each other. Alright, Mickey.
Is it like it has the person who's in the story is not telling the story but the narrator?
Is correct. The big short story in word, narrator. Narrator tells the story and follows one character, Gesundheit. That is third person limited. What's the difference between third person limited and third person omniscient?
Oh.
Bert?
Third person omniscient tells all what's happening all to the character.
Nicely done. Follows more than one character, so narrator follows many characters. Most of the time we're going to be trying to figure out the difference between if the story is first person or third person. So you have to figure out, do we have the main character talking directly to us, much like you have a speaker in a poem, or do we have a narrator that's following things? Like in Caterpillar, we had first person. It was the caterpillar telling us what was going on. And then in Maggie and Molly and Millie and May, we had a narrator, or in Injust, there was a narrator. Cuss with the Dragon, there's a narrator, there's person following things. And then you have to figure out between limited and omniscient, is it following one character the whole time, or does it jump around and follow a whole bunch of people? Jose?
Isn't there like, I always, like, I remember there was one that's like, where like a person, he's like looking at a group of people and like narrating in his head and telling stuff about what they think they're doing. Like,
Could be. Daughter? No.
Mr. Brovicast, what about second person? Does second person exist?
Second person does exist,
very rare.
but we don't really use it in short stories. Do you guys know what second person is? You get in trouble usually if you use it in comp class. Maya? No? Did I scare you off with the comp class? Daughtery?
Well, you see here,
I do.
second person is something I don't know.
That is what I see. Second person is when it is you are telling someone his commands. Usually you have to start with you. You should get out your homework. You should do their imperative, if you will, where you're telling someone. The trick is it's hard to tell a story like that. You can't write a short story like you walk down the street and you see a dragon. You're like, no, I don't. Oh, never mind. So it doesn't work as a short story thing. So usually it's always going to be first person or third person. Here we're going to take a look at a couple different examples. I want you to see if you can figure out which point of view this is. It says, Zach repeated the phrase to himself again as he glanced at the numbers scrawled on a piece of paper clutched in his hand. As long as he kept his cool and didn't look suspicious, he would be fine. This would be easy. It had been easy the first several times he had done this, and it continued to be easy for as long as he kept his cool. Atkinson?
Second person.
Close. That'd be when I say you do this and you do that. So not second person. You have to choose between first person or third person. First person, the character is telling it about himself. Third person with the narrator. Close. You got third person. Now, if it's omniscient, it means it follows more than one character. How many characters do we have here? So it would be third person. Nicely done. So this one's third person limited. You have a narrator going through and following, but it's only following one character. It is following just Zach the entire time. Maya?
And the next one.
Let's find out. The next one. On the night of the day on which this cruel deed was done, I was aroused from sleep by the cry of fire. The curtains of my bed were in flames. The whole house was blazing. It was with great difficulty that my wife, a servant, and myself made our escape from the inferno. The destruction was complete. So you have to figure out what point of view that would be. Forbes?
First person,
Why do you say first person?
because they use I.
Nicely done. Because you have a narrator talking about themselves, it becomes first person. Let's take a look at another one. Maya, I'll make you do the next one, because it's harder.
Oh.
Oh, what? It's a poem. This poem. Now we get to figure out what this poem is being told in, where it goes through and says, Maggie and Millie and Molly and May went down to the beach to play one day. Maggie discovered a shell that sank, which remembered her troubles in. Millie befriended a stranded star who's raised by the fingers.
Maya
And Molly was raised by Maya, and Maya has the answer, which is?
Third person omnis.
Are you asking me?
I don't know how to say it.
Just do the first 4 letters.
Say it with pride.
Oh, are you doing third person limited?
No.
The other one?
Yeah.
So just do O-M-N-I, omni.
Omni.
So say the whole thing together.
Omni.
Is that what you think it is?
Yeah.
Why?
Because there's more than one person.
Nicely done. You have a narrator and it's jumping from following one character after another. Becomes third person omniscient. Nicely done.
Who's May?
Theme! Our next one we have. This is usually the toughest one.
The May.
Free H?
Well, you see here.
I do.
Hey, that's mine.
You copyrighted that phrase.
It is kind of like, it's not, it's kind of hard to explain. Like baseline of the story, kind of.
Not bad. Jordan?
Of like what's going on.
That's more the plot. That's what happens. Ooh. Jose?
The theme, let's see,
Yes.
is like,
It is.
if it's like the poem or the story is like happiness or like
You ready to run?
sadness.
Closer. That's more genre. If?
Oh, okay.
Eagles?
Oh, like, well, I forgot.
Dompers?
The moral.
Nicely done. It's what we learn. The main ideas about life and people, what the story teaches us, what we learn from the story. As an example, Custer the Dragon. The plot is about a dragon that gets bullied and then eats a pirate. That's the plot. The theme, well, what is it we're supposed to learn from Custer the Dragon? It has nothing to do with pirates or dragons.
Don't bully.
Nicely done. The theme becomes don't bully. A theme should be easily applied to more than one story. So the idea of a theme is this main idea, this big overarching idea that covers everything. The next two go together. Internal conflict and then external conflict. Well, first off, do you guys know what internal means?
Inside.
And external?
Outside.
Good job. What's the conflict?
Nasty thing
A
looks
problem. People
Oh,
like character.
problem.
Nice.
Something that can't be resolved.
Something that works for me. An internal conflict is a problem that can't be resolved inside of you.
You mean like a tummy ache?
Close, but this is going to be an internal conflict is in your brain where you can do this or you can do that. And you have to make a, Maya,
Decision.
I didn't even get to say anything.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Maya. It's not up anymore.
I already saw that.
Oh. Well, what is it?
A major decision.
Nicely done. Hey, look, it's right there. It's a major decision, a choice in the story. They don't often come out and tell you this. Anytime you do an internal conflict, it has to be written as something or something. And you cannot use the word not. As an example, if we were to go back to Custard the Dragon, when the pirate shows up, Custard has an internal conflict. What is Custard's internal conflict when the pirate shows up? 3 names?
Either indigestion or thought.
Or what was the second half?
Thought.
Nicely done. So either tummy ache, like running away.
Sure.
I was curious, I'm trying to indigest, but yes, running away or eat the pirate become the choice. When the pirate kicks in the little girl's door and sees the dragon, he has the decision to make. And what decision does the pirate have to make? Dumpert?
Run away.
Or?
Fight.
Nicely done. Run away. So they have this,
But Mr. Brovicast, it never says that in the poem.
you're correct. You have to do this thing called thinking and analyzing it and putting yourself,
But Mr. Brovicast, that hurts.
I know. And the last one, external conflict.
Man versus queen.
Jose?
It's not a big problem.
It is. It is
It's a big.
the big problem in the story. This is usually a fight between things.
Oh.
So you're going to have, and it's always written as something versus something. You're
Man
going to
versus
have,
nature
and in comp class they do
Man
the
versus
generic
man.
man versus.
Man
I don't do
versus-
man versus.
man
I
versus-
do put the characters in there. Like in Custard the Dragon, it should be what two things fight?
Dragon versus pirate.
Dragon versus pirate.
Or can it be the dragon versus the bowling?
Nicely done.
But Mr. Broviac, that's more than one.
You're right. Good stories
And the
should have
dragon.
more than one external conflict. So you'll have both the pirate versus the dragon. You're gonna have the dragon versus the bullies, stuff
Pirate
like that.
Versus pirate.
There's only one pirate.
Yeah, but
His mother.
use it as members game too.
True, but in that one you can have the pirate versus the apparent alcoholism, because when he sees the dragon, what does he do?
Gobble gobble.
Yeah, he starts drinking. The grog is like pirate beer, and so apparently he sees a dragon. He's like, "Whoa, buddy!" And then he starts drinking. And then what happens after he starts drinking?
Then he tries to shoot him.
And does he hit him?
No.
No, that's right. You
He's
should.
drunk.
Whenever you see a dragon, the moral of that story, the theme is you should never drink before shooting a dragon, because
Be drunk?
you're gonna miss, or do something along those lines.
That's a bad
Darn it.
So that gives us an idea. Now we're gonna see how well you can use that thinking with this Annabelle Lee. I'm gonna see if you can apply those 7 elements to Annabelle Lee. First off, we have characters, right? No, plot. Those are characters first, more fun. We have 2 characters in Annabelle Lee. Give me one and a description of that character that would separate it from the other character. Bratton,
Annabelle Lee.
how would you describe Annabelle Lee?
She's a girl.
Anything else besides she's a girl? What's she do in the poem? What happens to her?
She does.
There you go, girl who dies. Give me another character. Forbes?
The guy,
Alright, and how would you describe the guy?
he has a lot of love for Annabelle Lee.
Works for me. And you have dude, guy who has a lot of love for Annabelle Lee. How about the setting? Where is our poem taking place as far as setting goes? MacLean? In a kingdom by the sea. How about, and at the end of the poem, where is the setting? Because that's a slightly more specific place. Jordan?
like a
Works for me. In the tube, because it's nice and creepy.
A
Bye.
little ray of sunshine.
What do we have going on tomorrow?
Okay.
What's going on tomorrow? Be ready for the test tomorrow.
And we're
And
going to the lab.